My name is Frank Testin, and I live in Toronto, Canada. I've been actively involved with the GNRC Contemplative Spiritual Formation Committee for almost 2 years. I want to let you know why I like the meditative prayer that we practice every 2 weeks. First of all, as Catholics and Christians, we believe that God, Jesus, the source of love, is transcendent. That is, we consider God to be beyond merely physical experience. Secondly, we say that God is also immanent, meaning part of the material world, including you and me. I don't think I'd be exaggerating to say that many prayers at a Catholic Mass are addressed to a transcendent, somewhat distant deity. I'd like to tell you a story. About 15 years ago, I had a conversation with someone, and in the course of the exchange, I mentioned that I believed God was in Jesus. He said, "Okay, then ask me, do you also believe that God is in you at this moment?" I was shocked. I didn't know what to say. Something inside me said, "No, it can't be. I'm not worthy. God in me? No way." My answer now is the affirmative yes. Well, what's changed? Since that time, I've read about some mystics such as Meister Eckhart, who wrote that, quote, "One should love God mindlessly. By this I mean that your soul ought to be without mind or mental activities or images or representations. Bear your soul of all mind and stay there without mind." End quote. And Julian of Norwich wrote that we are in God, and God, whom we do not see, is in us. In addition, she wrote that God is nearer to us than our own soul, and God is the means whereby our substance and our sensuality are kept together so as never to be apart. Instead of seeing the divine as only up in the sky, these and other mystics, such as Francis of Assisi, recognized the presence of the God of love living intimately in themselves, as close as the breaths we take and the beats of our heart. Divine love intimately accompanies us during times of darkness, suffering, and rejection, and in times of light, joy, and gratitude. I've also read contemporary writers such as Matthew Fox, author of The Coming of the Cosmic Christ, The Healing of Mother Earth, and the Birth of a Global Renaissance. Another book, Hildegard of Bingen, A Saint for Our Times, Unleashing Her Power in the 21st Century. And A Way to God, Thomas Merton's Creation Spirituality Journey. Another author, Joan Chittister, who wrote In God's Holy Light, Wisdom from the Desert Monastics, and The Gift of Years, Growing Older Gracefully. I can relate to that. Another author, Richard Rohr, who wrote Immortal Diamond, The Search for Our True Self, a wonderful book, and Everything Belongs, The Gift of Contemplative Prayer, and The Universal Christ, How a Forgotten Reality Can Change Everything We See, Hope for, and Believe. Pope Francis, who wrote in Laudato Si that God is present in the whole universe and in the smallest of creatures. In addition, he wrote that Jesus gazed upon this world with human eyes, and today is alive in every creature. The Holy Spirit dwells in our hearts and inspires us to do what is good. I now see the divine as being part of the material world. Since the Big Bang, some 13.8 billion years ago, this is the original incarnation. There has never been a split between the spiritual and the profane. It's all one world. If only we have the eyes, the consciousness to recognize it. I've also practiced meditative prayer, which has been a way to become more conscious of the God of love who lives in my very being. If in me, without merit, then in everyone, without exception. This includes all LGBTI persons. What a beautiful world. The Global Network of Rainbow Catholics has been offering a meditative session every 2 weeks since February 2020. We're using the online platform Meditation Chapel, and there we're known as the Rainbow Contemplatives. Make sense? The form of prayer that helps me to get in touch with the love within is silent prayer, such as what is practiced in Centering Prayer by Thomas Keating, or by the World Community for Christian Meditation, led by John Main and Lawrence Freeman. That is what resonates with me. I invite you to join us.